This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
From Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show. We help you get control of your money, get ahead in your career, and get on the path to living well. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined today by fellow Ramsey personality and best-selling author Christina Ellis. And we are so pumped to take your call, so give us one, why don't you? 888-825-5225. This is a momentous day, Christina, because It's our first time co-hosting together.
Yes, I'm so excited.
It's a day you've been dreaming of since you were a little girl, I'm sure.
I know.
Like one day, I'll host a show with George. No one dreams of that.
The infamous George Camel.
But this is exciting. So we're going to take your questions, your money, your life, your career, your relationships, student loans, college. We want to talk about all of it. The number is 888-825-5225. David kicks us off this hour in Jacksonville, Florida. David, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Sure. How can we help?
All right. So I just had a question about my rent and whether or not it's reasonable for me to be paying what I pay, given how I'm in a unique circumstance.
Okay. How unique?
So I currently make around $59,500 before taxes per year, and my rent is $1,788 per month.
Ouch.
Yeah, tell me about it. And so my net take-home pay after taxes and like healthcare deductions and all that is right around $3,955.
Okay,
I believe. And so if I do the math, that is around, I think
45%.
40. Yep, exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. But the interesting thing is that I don't have any. I'm very, very fortunate in that I don't have any student loan or credit card debt or like a car payment.
So you have no debt whatsoever.
Correct.
Okay. The hesitation worried me. I was like, what are you hiding, David? What do you got? So no debt whatsoever. All of your income goes to you. But again, you're saying, hey, my take-home pay after rent comes out, I got barely anything left over.
Right. Yeah. That's.
Did the rent recently go up?
No, it's been going on for a while.
And is it a one-bedroom apartment? What are we talking?
Yeah, it's a one-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there alternatives in the area that are cheaper? What's kind of the market like where you're at?
Yeah, that's the thing is that I looked at some other places where I live. So where I live right now, I want to just, to move to a place near the office, to save on gas. The good news is I can walk to the office where I work at. So it's a good benefit.
Are you single?
But yeah, there aren't that many. Yes.
Okay.
How is it fitting in your budget right now? Are you feeling pretty stressed? Are you barely making it to the end of the month? Like, what's it feel like? How's it fitting with the rest of your expenses?
Yeah, it's I do feel stressed. And
do you have an emergency fund?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
It's savings wise, I'm okay. It's just I just don't like spending more than I make.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
You're currently not doing that, right? It sounds like you're living on less than you make. There's just not much left at the end of the month.
Exactly.
Are you investing 15% into retirement?
I can't do that. I think it's. Oh well. Are you talking about like 401k wise?
Yes.
Like percentage of like my paycheck?
Yes. Are you investing currently?
I currently do 3%, I believe. Yeah, 3%.
Is that a match?
3%. Yes.
Okay, but you're not
they
investing
match
beyond the
it.
3%.
Right, exactly. Just because rent is so expensive. Yeah.
So where's all the other money going? I mean, is it just you're trying to cover bills? I mean, you don't sound like you're living frivolously here. But how much money is left at the end of the month? Because you should have some margin if you have no debt.
Right. I think around like $500.
Okay. And where's that $500 going currently?
Just in my savings account, in my checking account.
Okay. If I'm in your shoes, I'm going to up that to 15%, and that might mean you have less margin at the end of the month. Are you doing a budget every month currently?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, not every month.
I think that's going to really help you feel like you have some control over where your money's going. Because right now, it's just a lot of emotion and just it feels tight, but you're not sure why. And when you start paying attention to where every single dollar is going, it has an assigned job and a category, that's going to be a huge help. So I'm going to gift you 1 year of our premium budgeting tool, Every Dollar, so that you can get on that path and figure out where every dollar is going. And hopefully you'll find some money in the couch cushion there, proverbially speaking.
Yeah, and I would also just think about, like, what are your goals? How aggressively do you want to save? Personally, I would feel pretty nervous having my housing cost be 45% of my take-home pay. So, I mean, you could consider maybe moving. If you want to really stay close to work, maybe you could get a 2-bedroom and have a roommate and split the cost, and it'll be a little bit less per month for each of y'all. Or maybe you could... you could live 5 minutes away from work and drive, or maybe find somewhere where you could bike to work that's a little bit cheaper, especially if you're hoping to like save up a down payment or have money for retirement. I'd probably look into...
Yeah, we need to figure out this situation and go, can I move further out? Are there other apartments in the area that are cheaper? Can I find a roommate and split the cost to where it's now 25-30% of my take-home pay? That'd make me feel a whole lot better.
Definitely.
Would you be willing to get a roommate?
Oh, absolutely. The only thing is I don't quite know many people in the area except for, people that are at work. And
are your coworkers feeling the same pinch? Have you talked to them about this and see, hey, what do you pay for rent? Where do you live?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Some of them have told me, that rent is crazy,
Well, I feel like...
Yeah,
Especially nowadays, there's so many ways to find roommates. I love your idea of, checking out if coworkers are looking for roommates, but there's also Facebook groups in the community. There are apps available like nowadays.
Especially Jacksonville. I mean, that's a populated area with a lot of young people. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, there's got to be another 25-year-old out there. I mean, the age doesn't really matter, but I want an 18-year-old moving in with you, or a 75-year-old. So maybe find someone who's in your same kind of stage of life that you can figure out a way to shave down those costs. But I think right now I'd up the investing. You have the money there. I wouldn't just waste it sitting in a savings account when you already have your emergency fund. I'd rather have that growing with compound interest so that when you're 65, you're thanking me later for the millions of dollars in that account. Thanks for the call, man. I know rent's a tough one right now, Christina. It's up everywhere, but Florida especially, it's bad.
Yeah, it's stressing a lot of people out. Thanks for the call, David.
Appreciate it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use Netsuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use Netsuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because Netsuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Camel, joined today by Ramsey personality Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls, America. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Well, we are headed back out on the road. We've done a few events earlier this year, and the fall is going to be jam-packed. So imagine the energy of an arena filled with people who are ready to experience what it means to live life to the fullest. Now picture all of your favorite speakers on a stage, empowering you with tools and principles that will create unstoppable momentum in your life. That is Smart Conference. It's been 3 years since we've done this event, and it is seriously my favorite event we do here at Ramsey, and we're pumped to get it back on the road in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, October 22nd. This is not just another pep talk. This is thousands of people like you coming together under one roof to learn how to build wealth, achieve their goals, strengthen relationships, and so much more. And we have a good time, too. It is very entertaining. We pull out all the stops for this one. All of us Ramsey personalities will be there, including Christina Ellis to my right and some special guests, Craig and Amy Grichelle from Life Church. They'll be there as well. Event passes start at just $39 for an all-day event. That's amazing. And there's no Ticketmaster fees, which would crank it up, double that. So that's the good news. Inflation has not hit us here at Ramsey Solutions. So go get your passes before they sell out. RamseySolutions.com/events is the place to go. Josh joins us up next in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Josh, welcome to the show.
Yes. I have a question. I don't know if I'm in bad shape or good shape. I feel like I'm in good shape.
Financially?
So yeah.
Okay, just make sure we're talking the same page here.
Yes. Let me just start with the bad first.
Okay.
I owe $190,000 on my farm.
Okay.
I owe $54,000 on my truck. I owe $32,000 on a piece of equipment and about $28,000 on another piece of equipment. Now, after taxes, I bring home $150,000, sometimes a little more if I work more. In my bank account, I have $360,000. In a Roth IRA, I have $600,000. In my 401k, I have $1.1 million.
Whoa!
And on my farm account, I have $392,000. My question is, should I pay my farm off and lose all the tax credits I get from the federal government every year, or should I just keep going like I'm going?
Well, do you like where you're headed?
Well, my numbers always say good, but I don't ever spend nothing. I don't own a house. I don't know. Just
how would it feel though?
Guidance.
Picture this, Josh. How would it feel making $150,000, and the only person you owe is Uncle Sam, and after that, you take all of that home and you get to do what you want with it. It's not going back out to the automotive lender. It's not going back out on the equipment loans, the farm loan. How would that feel?
Well, I've always said if everything's paid off and I had $500,000 sitting just in my bank account, I would be happy.
You have the money, you just told me, in the bank to pay this off today. All of it, right? The equipment, the farm, the truck.
Yeah. Like, I don't sweat my bills, I don't sweat it. I live very comfortable,
You've been able to out-earn your stupidity so far, and it's worked out. But the moment that's not the case, so you've dug yourself into a hole, but you got a big shovel.
Yeah.
And so you've been safe because of that. But, man, I look at your picture and I go, you're doing so well in so many areas. You don't need debt.
Yeah. I don't need, okay.
You're a millionaire who's a very successful farmer. You've got a great head on your shoulders. You've got an incredible work ethic. And so if I subtract debt out of that picture, I get real excited about Josh's future.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't know. I watch too much news, and I'm always worried about inflation. Will this even? But when I get older, when I'm in my 60s or 70s, the Lord lets me to live that long. Will I live comfortable then? Will I be able to live comfortable?
You can live comfortable right now. You don't have to wait till you're 70. If we get this debt out of your life, it's a whole new picture. And you're not, if you think you're scamming the government getting those tax credits, man, you can do so much better than that. The White House is not blessing you. Josh has blessed you. The Lord has blessed you with this incredible work ethic and this business you're running. And so I'm not doing nothing for the tax credit.
So in other words, just pay everything off and just go with like I've been doing.
Dude, you could be completely debt-free today. Own the farm outright, own the truck outright, own the equipment outright. It's going to ride different.
Well, and it sounds like
Yeah,
you're a
but
little bit. It sounds
but
like
I
you're a
don't
little bit
keep the
nervous.
equipment long. Yeah, but I don't know if you know much about farming. After about, 8 or 9 years, equipment starts breaking and all that. And what I do is I just turn around and sell it, get a brand new one. That way I ain't working on it every day.
Well, I don't know much about farming, but I know a whole lot about debt, and I know how it steals from your income, and that it's a thief, and it robs you from your future.
Oh, yeah.
And you just work too hard to be dealing with this mess.
Yeah, true.
You're not a broke farmer. You don't need to be carrying around payments the rest of your life.
Well, and it sounds
But
like
I'm
you're a little
still
nervous
young.
about the economy and inflation. And one of the best ways to protect yourself is to be debt free. Like having debt, that is a risk.
When crap hits the fan and you owe no one nothing, it changes how you make decisions, Josh.
Yeah.
You're
For
not
being
freaking
as
out
young
trying to
as I
sell
am,
things
I
at a
think I'm
deal.
doing good. Yeah. For being as young as I am, I think I'm doing good. I ain't 35, and I think I've got a hope of everything right now.
You're doing great.
Well, and what's so great is you are still young. So you were talking about, as you get older, are you going to be at any risk? And it's like right now you could be debt free and continue to build. Like this is you have so much time ahead of you to keep building and building your savings and building your retirement. You're already doing so awesome, but to do it without debt is just going to be that much more powerful.
And if you want to get angry at it, look at the interest you're paying on this $300,000 worth of debt. Add it up every single month.
0%. I got it to a federal grant loan. From
The farm,
government.
the truck, all of the equipment is all 0%?
Yep.
I don't believe it. Not for a
Right,
second,
so-
Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if
can
you
go
could
to the
take out
federal
another
government. Yes,
$500,000 at 0% today, would you do it?
sir. Oh, no. I wouldn't take that. No.
Then let's
I
get rid of the
couldn't- I
current
couldn't
one.
pay it back.
Because you have $300,000 sitting there with 0%.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, when those payments don't go back out, when they stay with you, it's going to change everything. It's going to change your spirit. It's going to change your mentality, your mindset. It's going to take a literal stress off of your body.
Yeah. Like, I got the money, but, just going back down to zero, but yet being debt free.
You're not going to zero, dude.
that I don't like.
You owe people money. It looks like you're doing well because you have a bunch of money in the bank, but that money has a name on it.
Well, and you're not going anywhere close to zero, right? You said you have 600,000 in your rod. You got
Yeah.
360K in the bank. You got a lot of money sitting around, bud.
So, well, like my grandma really helped me, like she really showed me how to be frugal and all that, and reading my Bible, and I read it, and I just listened to God a lot, and he just, I've always gotten by. I've never bought a house. I've never done that. I never went to college. I never took out more than what I did. And in the last 5 years is when I accumulated my debt, but I made sure I had my money. And I didn't pay it off because somebody told me, oh, you get these tax credits from the federal government.
Who's somebody?
And I was like,
it wasn't God or Grandma, I'll tell you that much.
no, it wasn't. It was another farmer, which he went bankrupt. So maybe I'm thinking
Well,
I'm
maybe
doing
we
wrong.
shouldn't take financial advice from that farmer. Maybe we should listen to God and Grandma, which is how we run this show. God's and Grandma's ways of handling money. And if you read that Bible of yours, it'll say the borrower is slave to the lender, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And it doesn't feel like it because you've been able to out-earn this.
Right.
Because you got a pile of money. You've been doing some things really diligently and really well, but you could be doing way better if you cleaned up this mess, and you can do it today. That's the best part.
Okay.
There's not a lot of sacrifice. You're just moving some money out of a bank account, paying off your debt, and end of the day, you're debt-free.
All right. Well, sounds good. Well, now I know what I should do. Now I know.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
Josh, you're crushing it, man. I appreciate the call. Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's rare, Christina, to see a guy who's doing so well. He's got over $1 million sitting in retirement accounts. He's got so much money in the bank, but he's hanging on to the debt, thinking it's a blessing in his life.
Ugh. Yeah.
And so it's a simple fix. This is a great situation to be in.
Yep.
He's not broke. He's got a great income. He's got plenty of money in the bank. Game on. Now let's
exciting.
live our life with freedom from now on. That's what I want for Josh. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis today. This is The Ramsey Show. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. On the line, we've got James and Katie from Ocean City, New Jersey, and I see on my screen that you guys are debt-free?
That's right.
We love to see it. How much debt did you pay off?
$389,000.
Whoa. And how long did that take?
About 4 years.
Okay. Making what range of income during that time?
We were at 130 to 548.
Okay. What do you guys do for a living?
Well, I have like a little side hustle, and I take care of the kids, and I help with real estate.
I'm in real estate.
Aha. And apparently things have been going well the last few years.
Yes, they have. The past 2 years have been really good. We live at a beach resort, so it's really took off.
And everyone's trying to escape to the beach these days. So this all residential real estate?
Yes, residential real estate, yep.
Good for you. Well, you must be a rock star real estate agent. That is awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
So tell us about the $389,000 debt. What kind was it?
Let's see. We had credit card debt. We had a rental property that was losing money every month, and our house, and a lot of stupid investments.
Whoa. So you paid off all this debt and decided, let's just pay off the house too.
That's right, yep.
That's incredible. Way to go, guys. How old are you two?
I'm 45.
And I just turned 40.
Oh, my goodness. And you've got a beautiful family. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see them and the pup as well. What a picture-perfect family. This is incredible. So tell us about this journey. 4 years ago, you guys had a great income. You were living a normal life, credit cards, you had, rental property investment debt and your mortgage. What happened 4 years ago that got you set on this path?
So about 6 years ago, I had taken a team leader position in a different state. We relocated our family, and during that year, we ended up going broke. The job brought me to my knees. I ended up having a relapse, and our marriage was falling apart.
Wow. That was 6 years ago.
Yep.
And so you started kind of climbing out of that with recovery and trying to keep this marriage afloat?
Yeah, we ended up moving back home and had a lot of people around us for support. I was in groups and we were in counseling for a while. And we just had a lot of people come into our lives and just got close to God and had him guide us through it.
That's incredible. And how'd you get connected to us?
Well, during that time, it was obviously really challenging. And when we found Dave Ramsey, that was like the first step to rebuilding our marriage. We were pulling on the same rope for the first time, probably, in our whole marriage. And we're not exactly sure, but I think we stumbled on the podcast. And then I have the side hustle business. It's cleaning. And as I was scrubbing toilets and cleaning up after everyone's fabulous vacations, I would always listen to the podcast. And that was like my why for getting out of the debt. And Jimmy didn't help me clean toilets, but he did the same.
Yeah, a lot of sacrifice was made. And, I mean, you guys were going, we're going to fix this marriage, we're going to get our health back, and we're going to get our money back.
What would you say was the hardest part of paying off the debt?
I just staying focused. What helped was just the little wins. I think we had a vision of like paying off our house, but it wasn't real clear, like, that's a distant future kind of thing. But the system works. So we just got little wins along the way, which created the momentum, and realized like there is a path to make it happen.
I love that. Little wins, especially y'all talked about how, you had just been through so much in that season, job loss and addiction and all of that. And to see those little wins, it's like it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be all at once, but to make that incremental progress is powerful. That's awesome.
I love what Katie said. You guys started pulling on the same rope. You started going in the same direction, and you started feeling that progress when you get on the same page. You guys are incredible. So what's the house worth?
Around $450.
I love it, and it's all yours.
That's right. Yep.
Man.
Did y'all have some cheerleaders in the process?
We did.
My parents were huge in encouraging us and just supporting us through that challenging time. And my dad always loved talking about money. Our pastor and his wife, Ron and Stephanie.
Mike and Joel, we go to church with them, and we would always have fun with Dave Ramsey-isms, just laughing about stuff. And our families were always a big support too, our sisters.
That's huge. Never underestimate the importance of having the right people in your corner, cheering you on. Mm-hmm. Not just for money, but for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, they were a big part of that.
So talk to that couple that may be facing some of the stuff you guys were facing 6 years ago. The marriage is hanging on by a thread. There's addiction. You just feel like this will never get better. What do you say to that couple? What is the key to getting out of debt?
What I kind of go back to is opportunity comes dressed in overalls and looks a lot like work.
He loves saying that.
I love that.
Hustle. And just speaking the stuff into light, too, because that's where God is real powerful. He shows up. We get it out of inside of us in those deep, dark spots, and just speak it into light, and he'll show up.
That's powerful.
It reminds me of the quote, pray like it all depends on God, work like it all depends on you. And you guys were a great mix of that, and you got plugged into your church community, and you just set yourselves on a path where you said no more. And now you have this incredible income, you have this beautiful family, and you get to keep it all. You get to leave a legacy and change your family tree. We're so proud of you guys.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be completely debt-free?
It feels great. I mean, we definitely struggled when we paid our last mortgage payment, because we were like, okay, now what? Like, what are we doing now? Because we were so focused on that for, rebuilding our marriage, working on our financial issues. And so we're in this season where we're like, okay, now what are we going to do? The kids have lots of ways we can spend our money. But.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's vacations and college funds and building for the future and building wealth and being outrageously generous.
That's right.
Giving for sure. Yep.
I love it. Well, we're going to send you guys a copy of Dave's #1 best-selling book, Baby Steps Millionaire, how everyday people build extraordinary wealth and how you can too. We're also going to send you the Total Money Makeover to get someone else set on their journey to financial freedom. And we're going to gift you guys 1 year of Financial Peace University and our premium budgeting tool, Every Dollar, and it's all included in Ramsey Plus. We're going to give that to you guys. You can use it yourselves or gift it to someone else.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. James and Katie, Ocean City, New Jersey, $389,000 paid off, house and everything, in 4 years, making $130,000 all the way up to $548,000, crushing the real estate game. Count it down, guys. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
You ready?
3,
2, 1.
We're debt-free!
You can hear the children in the background. I'm pretty sure I heard the dog in there, too. They were all jumping for joy.
It's powerful.
That's
awesome.
inspiring. I mean, beating addiction, restoring a marriage, getting completely debt-free, that's a good day in my book.
That's a whole journey.
If
That's
you needed
amazing.
some good news, you just got some. Transformation is always inspiring, and it's out there for you, America. It's available to you. You can do it. You just got to put in the work like James and Katie did. It's possible. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined today by Ramsey personality and best-selling author Christina Ellis. And if you've seen Borrowed Future, the documentary we put out, Christina was featured in it with her amazing story of getting $500,000 in scholarships, going to college completely debt-free, and your master's as well. Pretty amazing story, Christina.
Oh, yes, thank God. It was such a blessing, and I'm honored to get to share with students now about how they can go to school debt-free, too. So many people think that the only way is debt. You have to take out a student loan. It's totally normal, and I'm glad my story is proof that that's not true. I'm glad that there's other stories in the documentary of people who went, you know what? I'm taking loans off the table, and I'm going to figure out a way to go debt-free. And it's inspiring. And I think it's so important for students to see this because we got to fight this toxic culture that says that's the only way.
That student loans are, quote, good debt because it ROIs, right? You're going to make so much money. If you have a degree, you'll pay it off in no time. Oh, boy. And here we are 20 years later, and people are still paying down their student loans. The interest is climbing. The balance is higher than when they started. And they're going, please help, White House. Someone fix this for me.
Right. That's part of
a huge problem.
Huge problem. And part of why I'm so passionate about helping this younger generation is because I see my friends, I see people my age who bought into that lie and they thought, it's all going to work out. Like, of course, I'm going to get a great job. I'm going to be able to pay this off easily. All the adults in my life at 17 told me that it's going to work out.
A lot of assumptions.
A lot of assumptions. And now they're dealing with the pain and they're putting off getting married. They're putting off buying a house, major life decisions because they feel trapped by student loan debt. And it's like, we've got to do better for the next generation.
Well, we are glad you're here to be the preventative medicine for this next generation and help them avoid that trap. Love it. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. We'd be happy to take it. Luke joins us up next in Salt Lake City, Utah. Luke, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's an honor to be on the show.
We're happy to have you. What's going on?
So I'm 14. I mow lawns around my neighborhood. I make about $130 a week. And so I know it's not a ton of money, but I do have some. And I was wondering if it'd be a good idea to invest some of it.
What's your situation, Luke? I mean, do you have expenses for this business you're running?
No, just something to get money.
Do you have any money in the bank currently?
Yeah, I have about $2,000 saved up.
Way to go. You are so far ahead of most American adults, so I'm really proud of you. That's incredible. You got a great work ethic at 14 years old.
Yeah, Luke,
That's
what are you
awesome.
thinking about for the future? Are you thinking college or what's your plan?
So just work through high school and then go on a 2-year mission and then come back and go to college.
Awesome. What are you thinking about in terms of paying for college? Are you starting to save for that?
Yeah, just, work while I go to college and during the summer, cash flow college.
I love it. Well, as to your question, should I be investing any of this money? right now I want you to invest in Luke. And so that may not look like a Roth IRA or an investment account because there's so many unknowns over the next 8 years of your life that when you have a pile of money ready to go, liquid cash, it's going to change how you make your decisions. And because you're not sure of what's next and what college looks like and who's going to pay for it, have you had a conversation with your parents about this? Are they saving up for college?
Not much.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I want you to go watch Borrowed Future with them. Say, hey, Mom, Dad, movie night. We're going to watch Borrowed Future. We're going to gift that to you. Austin will pick up after we're done here and make sure we get you a code so that you can watch that. I would think that's going to spark an awesome conversation with you and your parents because clearly it sounds like you want to live your life debt-free. Even at 14 years old, you're calling into the show. You know what we say around here.
Yeah.
And so my A1 for you is to get you through college and get you a job without ever touching debt, without ever touching a credit card because, dude, you don't need one. You're so sharp. You're going to do so great. You're going to build so much wealth if you just stay on this path. And so I just want you to figure out what those next plans are before we go dump this money in retirement accounts that you can't touch until you're 60. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But Luke, you're doing awesome. To be out there creating a business, running a business, making consistent income, and building your resume for the future, that's just incredible.
Yeah, I would just park all of the money you can in an online savings account for now. And over the next 5 years, who knows, maybe you have $50,000 and we go, great, we can actually pay for college now and cash flow it because Mom and Dad weren't able to help. So we just don't know what that future holds. And worst case, if they cover college 100%, you get scholarships, you have $50,000 you can now use as a down payment. You've got your emergency fund, you're ready to invest, and you're going to go full throttle at that point. So I'm not worried about you becoming a millionaire. It's going to happen if you stay the course. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Ann joins us up next in Austin, Texas. Ann, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I just have a quick question, and I'm a believer in Dave Ramsey long before I ever heard about him. I saved, I did all kinds of things, and I've been to school, Ramsey School, but there's just one thing I don't do that I know is not according to the plan, and that is I use my credit card.
Aha.
And yes, I do, and because I like the perks. So yesterday I went out and I got a real nice computer, which I needed, and charged it. I have the money in the bank now to pay for it, and I do pay off my credit card every month.
Okay.
Which if I pay it now before it goes through the next cycle, the next month, will I still get my perks? Or will they just wipe that off?
Well, Ann,
I'm getting kind of anxious to pay it off, not wait.
Well, I love the idea of you paying it off. I don't love the idea of doing it so that you can get the perks. And so I'll answer it twofold. I'm not a credit card company, so I don't know how snakes work. I don't know the inner workings of them. But you're not winning here. What was the perk that you went, all right, I'm going to charge the laptop to the card. What's the perk you're getting for this?
Well, I get money back, a percentage of the money I spent back. Well, last year I got about $600.
Okay. Now, take all of that money.
And I need it.
And if, let's just say, you could have done better if you used your own money. Do you think you would have made different spending decisions at all? If you're going to be brutally honest, would you have made different spending decisions if this was all coming from your bank account and you got no perks? Would you have spent less?
I don't almost think you can't do that. I think you have to do it wrong. But I am very frugal. I'm not crazy out there. But yes, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did spend money I shouldn't have.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think there's a difference if you pay it off today or pay it off in a month. I still think you're still going to get your pennies on the dollar for your cash back. That's changing your life. So you can continue to do that, but I would encourage you to make Ann her own cashback program, where Ann now has the margin to give herself $600 because she has margin because she's doing an every dollar budget. She's using her own money. It's changing how she makes decisions. What do you think about that? How's that for a cashback program?
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
I like this idea.
I'm self-insured every other way.
Here's a test, Ann. What if you cut up the card and for, let's say, 1 month, you just use your debit card? And you call me back and tell me if you missed the perks and tell me if you spent differently because of that. Would you be willing? I don't know if anyone has ever done this test. Would you be the guinea pig for us?
I'd love to.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, Ann. Listen, I want to call back 1 month from now. It's June 17th, July 17th. Call back into the show. Austin will definitely remember Ann from Austin, Texas. And you're going to report back on this experiment. I want hard numbers.
You'll get
on
them.
how much you spent and if you missed the rewards. Because truthfully, do you have any debt, Ann? You said you pay it off every month. You do everything the Ramsey way but the credit cards.
Yes, the house is paid, the car is paid.
Oh,
Everything
you're
is
amazing.
paid. I have no debt.
Ann, you're crushing it. You don't need to be playing with snakes. You don't need this credit card. You're doing so well. What's your income?
Well, I have Social Security, and I have a small annuity from my retirement.
Okay. And that's enough for you to have a comfortable retirement?
No.
Oh. Well, that's a problem. What are we doing to supplement that?
Well, I've sold everything that moves in the house. My husband passed away, and he was making very good money, but it didn't come to me. So in a moment, I had all of the bills and not much money to pay for. So,
oh, my goodness. Well, Ann, here's the deal. Here's what I'm telling you right now. The credit card companies are not going to help you have a comfortable retirement. That $600 is not a gift that's going to bless you in retirement. So let's cut it up. Let's get on a plan. Call me back in a month. Let me know how the experiment went using your own money. I'd love to hear about it.
I love this experiment. This is amazing.
Fun. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
From Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you get control of your money, get ahead in your career, and get on the path to living well. I'm George Camel, your host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined today by fellow Ramsey personality and best-selling author, Christina Ellis. And we are excited to take your calls, 888-825-5225. Taylor's kicking us off in Portland, Oregon. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Hey, George. Hi, Christina. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So quick backstory is starting this year, we got more in line with the Ramsey plan, and my wife and I are currently on baby step 2. So we paused investing, paused extra mortgage payments. Our 2 debts that we're working on is my wife, she's buying into her practice this year, and we plan on having that done by the end of this year. And then the next 1 to 2 years after that, resuming her med school payments and getting that out of the way, and then we'll be debt-free. So we're expecting another child next year, and so as we're, with my wife now being a business owner, we're learning what it means to pay quarterly taxes and estimating withholdings, et cetera. So next year, she won't be paid while she's on maternity leave, and at the same time, she'll go back to work part-time during the first year of our child's life. That's what she did with our daughter, and she wants to do that again, so we'll expect a big drop in income next year. So this year, even though we're not experiencing her big increase in income because we're on baby step 2, it's obviously going to be more. And so my understanding is when it comes to safe harbor laws and contributing 110% to avoid penalties based off the previous year's income. So I guess my question is it at all worth considering trying to budget and contributing to any of our pre-tax retirements again to decrease our tax burden for next year since we're anticipating a drop in income?
No, I just don't think that's going to be the life hack and shortcut that it seems to lower your tax burden. So what's your income starting at this year? What's it going to go to?
It's a significant increase this year. I don't know exactly because it is the first year, she's going to, it's going to be somewhere between $300 and $350.
Awesome.
And I can say this year we're not experiencing because, we plan on having $150,000 in debt paid off in just this year alone and then getting the rest of med school off
What's
right away.
What's the total debt?
Total, I have to look right at it. Her med school is under 100. I believe we're at 90 still. I have to go back and look at our chart. But we were able to pause that because it was a personal loan that was a 0%. We paused it. We said, hey, we'll pay extra once we finish this buy-in, and then we'll be done with it at the same time we anticipated.
So are you guys doing the debt snowball? It sounds like you were doing a little different plan. Are you doing them smallest to largest regardless of interest rate?
No, and that's, we started this way before we kind of listened to you more as far as what the debt snowball means. The reason why is we just did it because it's a bigger one, a little bit of interest, and my wife personally wanted this one done when she goes on maternity leave with her practice. And then since the other one was through her family, it was just an easy thing. Hey, can we pause this and then come back and just have it done at the start of next year at a higher rate? So I guess technically no.
Here's what I'm feeling for you guys, Taylor. You're doing a lot at once, and if you start investing and we're paying off some of the debt, but it's not the smallest one, we're not really feeling the progress. And so my worry is she goes on maternity leave, the income goes down, and you're exactly where you were with no money and having all these payments in your life. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm going, we can ratchet this up. We can get really intense. Let's do the debt snowball. Let's follow the proven plan that millions of people have done and realize that we're not as unique or special as we thought we were. And I think you're going to find yourself in a very different place if you do that.
Sure. And I'll say one clarifying thing. We don't plan on pausing even paying any debt payments with the child. I know in the past, or when I've listened to the show, you talk about, pausing baby step 2 when it comes to having kids. And I was trying to.
Do you guys have money in the bank?
We do. It's tight just since we're, still basically on her side of things, we're only holding her income to pay for basically quarterly taxes, and we're living off my income. So.
Okay. Do you have an emergency fund?
The bare minimum.
Okay.
It's a little over 1,000, but we don't have 3 to 6 months now.
Cool.
And how much do you have left with paying into the practice?
We started at 150. At the end of this month, we would have paid 90. And so, you say 60.
You have 60 left, and then how much do you have left in other debts?
It's just her med school. I believe it's 90. I have to go look at the chart again. We haven't looked at it because we decided to put everything kind of towards this practice, have it done in 1 year, and then get back with the med school and then be done with it.
So between the two, 150 total?
Just between those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that you paid 150 last year. Is that kind of like
No, I plan on 150 this year. Sorry.
150 this year.
So we started, we were in things January 1st of this year. That's when she started, being a owner. And so that's when we kind of went full steam ahead with the buy-in and just to have that out of the way. And then next year have the pay-off. So at the end of this year, it'll be 150.
Okay. So do you guys know your debt payoff date? Like between everything and on the current path you're on, when will you have the debt completely paid off?
We didn't write it down because when we have another kid, I just wanted to leave some leeway. I planned on, 1 to 2 years, and we didn't make an exact date just because we didn't know how impacting having a child is. We don't know. We wanted to be prepared if, say if the pregnancy doesn't go as planned or there's other medical costs. And say if it forces having to stop in order to pay medical bills if something happened. I don't anticipate it, but just in case.
Well, I would definitely have some money socked away for this baby and make sure that mom and baby get home healthy. And then if they are, we can throw that money on the debt. But I definitely would. I love that you're intense about the debt, but I also don't want to leave you guys in a lurch where you have $1,000 in the bank and you have, a medical emergency happen.
Right. Luckily, I have paid leave. So, I still have a job and I pay leave while we're off. And that's what we do with my last daughter. And since it went well, we were able to live off my income even during that time. So.
Okay. Well, I like you guys doing the debt snowball, maybe socking away $5,000 or $10,000 until baby and mom are home safely. Then you can throw that on the debt if that's the case. And I know you want to invest. I don't think the tax credit's going to be worth it. It sounds like you're trading $1 for a quarter. And so I don't think it's going to alleviate a lot of the tax burden. But I would talk to a tax pro. You can jump on RamseySolutions.com and get in touch with one of our endorsed local providers in your area to make sure that we're not missing anything here on the fine print.
Sure. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all new for us with her being an owner and how we're trying to withhold quarterly. So it's just trying to get some advice. It's all new for us.
Yeah. Well, I'm pumped for you guys. Excited for the baby. It sounds like this medical practice is going to be just going zoom soon, Christina. So this is a good situation. Big shovel. This debt's going to be cleaned up soon, but I think following the debt snowball is where they're going to see the most progress.
Absolutely, yeah. Congratulations, y'all, from the new baby. And it's obvious with the way the practice is going to work out. Once you get this debt paid off, you're going to be able to pour gasoline on this fire and just really amp up investing, which is awesome.
That's what I'm here for. Y'all, this stuff works. I'm telling you, and I know it sounds like I'm just cocky and arrogant saying to do the debt snowball, but it's because I've met way too many families on the debt-free stage, and where are all the avalanche debt people who are going, I paid off my debt from highest to lowest, and look at me now, I'm debt-free. You just lose steam.
Well, and you did it yourself. Like, you were walking proof of it. You saw how it worked in your life, and now you're baby step 7, living the dream.
That's why I'm so excited about this stuff, and I want that for every single family, especially these young couples out there. Man, you can really make some progress when you get on the same page and you follow this plan. You got a paid-for house in your 30s. Life looks different. That's what I want to help create. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Christina Ellis is my co-host today. I'm George Camel, and we are here for you, America, taking your calls. 888-825-5225. All right, Christina, so on the show, we like to have some fun. We like to react to some videos out there floating around the interwebs, and our team brought this one to my attention, and I thought it was a fascinating anecdotal video that can teach us some things, especially to the young people out there, Gen Z, millennials, who are trying to make a buck and make it fast, which leads to some short-term thinking. So I thought we'd play this video and get your hot take on it. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's play it.
If you had the choice between $1 million cash and your option of getting a magic penny that doubled in value every day for 30 days, would you know to pick the right one? Let's find out. For one, you'd have a penny. The next day, you'd have 2 pennies. The next day, you would have 4 pennies. Day 11, we have $10.24. Day 12, $20.48. Number 16, $327.68. Day 17, $655.36. Number 21, $10,485.76. Day number 24, you have $83,886.08. Day number 27, we have $671,088.64. And on day 30, we have $5.368 million and 12 cents.
Wow. What an interesting little study there. So the question was, I could give you $1 million today or give you a magic penny that doubles every day. Now, most people, if I went on the streets of Nashville with a microphone and said, hey, what would you take? Most people are going to take the $1 million, right?
Right.
Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not thinking about the power of the compounding growth of that penny.
Right.
And I think it's true of our society these days, as I watch a lot of videos on social media, and it's all zero down this, and you need to get on this, and passive income, and here's how to make this much money today. And a lot of it stems from people are strapped with debt, and they're looking for an easy way out.
Right.
They can't think that far out. They're thinking about this weekend, not 5 years from now.
Right. Delayed gratification. That's what it's all about. I mean, being willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to take, this thing right now that seems so obvious and easy, but I'm going to put it in investments and I'm going to wait for it to compound and become something amazing.
Yeah. Putting that $1 million, even in a great investment, you're not going to get to $5 million within 30 days.
Right. Well, and the thing is a lot of people, they're not willing to wait for that. They're willing to, they want to spend the money right now. They're not even just taking the $1 million and investing it. They're just going, I want to use it right now for this or that. And it's like, to be willing to let your money make money for you is so powerful.
Absolutely. So I'm taking the penny. I don't know about you.
I'm taking the penny. I'm in.
Now, if you said, I'll give you $1 million or you can have $5 million in 30 days, it changes the equation. I'm like, oh, okay, easily. Everyone's going to say, I'll take the $5 million in 30 days. Hopefully.
Right.
But when you say a magic penny, it doesn't sound like much. And that's kind of true when it comes to investing. You're putting a little bit away every single month, and you're going, $50 a month in an investment account, that's going to make me a millionaire? And you go, well, over 40 years it does. But most people would go, nah, it's not even worth it. I'm just going to throw it over here. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to put it in crypto. But the boring thing is usually the best thing. That's what I've found.
Right. It's like Dave was talking about earlier in the week, where it's like what's easy now can be hard in the long run. And if you're willing to do what's hard now, it can equal easy in the long run. So if you're willing to take that money and invest it and, make some sacrifices, you may not, spend as lavishly right now, but it can provide security and an amazing bank account in the future. It's like, it is worth it. Doing what's hard now, making the sacrifices, putting the money away equals easy later. Doing what's easy now and just spending the money and not saving, not taking advantage of compound interest equals hard in the long run. So it's like, be willing to do hard now so that you can do easy in the future.
Amen. Yes. Yeah. That short-term sacrifice leads to long-term gain. And short-term thinking usually leads to long-term pain. There's your rhyme for the day.
There
Christina.
you go. That's good.
I love it. Well, thank you for indulging me with that video.
I
thought it was fun. I was like, oh, it's amazing to see how quickly it grows.
Yeah.
And as you get older and you've got $1 million in that investment account, it's amazing how quickly it turns to $2 million. But it took you a long time to get to that first $1 million. So have delayed gratification. Think long term. You'll thank us later. Good stuff. John joins us up next in New Orleans. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's going on?
I have some questions with the current situation with the student loans and whatnot. My wife and I were both teachers, never made much more than poverty line, really. Into the last couple of years, I got out of the educational system and got into a sales environment, and we've paid off $45,000, in credit cards, $30,000 in personal loans. We are down to $195,000 in student loans. We both have advanced degrees, $195 in student loans, and $215 on our mortgage. We have a 15-year at 2.25%. And so the real reason I'm calling is we are in a time of 0%. Just a pause on student loans, and we are up because we can do retroactively. There were some things we didn't understand about the payback programs because we did the public servant thing. So we're under review right now to see if we qualify for all those years we were teachers and didn't get credit for it under the public service because we didn't know that was a thing. We really didn't do our research. That's our own fault. And I want to know how you guys would say to proceed. We have a farm. Other than that, though, this is to the last payoff thing. Should we wait until we receive credit or to find out a decision? And it could be several months. So
you said you're under review right now. Did you have a certain length of requirement for how long you had to be a teacher in order to get that? And have you met that?
Yeah. Well, it was public service, so it was any not-for-profit, and it was 10 years paying under that. And the new law that was just passed said that they can go back and review retroactively as long as the application is received by, I think it's October or something.
And you did 10 years of service, correct?
I'm actually at 9 years right now, and I'm still in a not-for-profit situation. It's just okay. I got into a different. I'm not in education anymore. My wife is still in education.
So the current job still qualifies potentially for this forgiveness?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's tricky because so much is changing right now, right? So many,
Right.
laws, there's temporary benefits, there's talk of potential major forgiveness. It's just a very confusing industry. And we're getting that question a lot. Do we pay it off? Do we take the chance? Do we see? But on the flip side, the interest is paused right now. So it's such a great time to be paying down on student loans. This is a really great time to get ahead. Now, you said you have $195,000 in student loans. Is the whole $195,000 under review?
Yes, it's all public student loans. It's none of it is private.
And have you received any timeline for when this might go through?
So as long as we have our application submitted by October, and the woman was very frank on the phone that this could take a while. So they said they could get a decision as quick as 30 days. But I've never had anything with the government that moves quick at all. So
right, and interest is still accumulating in the meantime, right?
It's at 0%
well,
right now.
once we hit August, interest is going to be accumulating, right? Right. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm starting to carve out space in my budget again for that payment. I'm starting to think through, how am I going to attack that payment? I'm not waiting for the government. I'm not waiting to see what they're going to do. I'm thinking about, how am I going to pay this off as quickly as possible? Now, I know a lot of people are nervous because they're like, what if it gets forgiven and I paid off my student loans and then I missed the opportunity for forgiveness? If you're in that situation and you're concerned about it, then I would still start putting the money aside in a high yield savings account so that, if it doesn't get forgiven, you have that money set aside to immediately pour onto your loan and potentially get it as quickly paid off as possible.
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion to John, is just sock money away in a savings account, and 30 days from now, when they go, nope, sorry, you don't qualify, you go, cool, I have 40 grand in a savings account, I'm going to start attacking the student loans myself. But in your situation, when you're so close, it may be worth seeing the review, and maybe it does get forgiven. I'm not mad at that.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, John. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
When our team gets together here at Ramsey Solutions, we talk a lot about our mission to change America's toxic money culture. It makes us real mad to see people get trapped by debt or to watch kids sign away their future for student loans. And for the folks who work here, this is not a job. This is a mission to change lives. And if that sounds like a passion you share, you've got to check out all of the exciting roles Ramsey Solutions is looking to fill ASAP. There's never been a better time to find a job doing work that matters. We need developers, UX designers, and writers to help us build digital products that actually change people's lives. You can check out what it's like to work for us before you apply. Just follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching Ramsey Careers. And if you want to apply for your dream job at RamseySolutions.com/careers, now is the time to do it. RamseySolutions.com/careers. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. I'm George Camel, joined today by Christina Ellis. Lincoln joins us up next in Philadelphia. Lincoln, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
I'm 16, and I want to learn how to set myself up for success financially.
Love to hear that.
I make around $4,000 a month, and I have about $4,000 in the bank.
Wow. What are you doing for work?
I work for the family company, and I've been working since I was like 14. So,
wow. And you're making $48,000 at 16 years old.
That's correct.
Wow. What kind of work is this?
It's for restaurant maintenance.
Cool. Good for
Yeah.
you, man. And so you have $4,000 in the bank. It sounds to me like you don't have any debt and you don't plan on getting any.
Nope, I would stay away from that if I can. But
wow.
What do you want to do in the future? Is this like a career and a job that you want to continue on, or are you thinking about going to college and changing it up?
No, I don't want to go to college. I know that. I like working. I wouldn't mind staying with the business. I like working on automotive stuff. On the side hustle. I flip cars. I buy and sell cars, and I fix them up and I sell them. So I could do something like that. But for now, I'm just going to stick with this business. So
very cool. So it sounds like you want to just follow an entrepreneurial path in general. So is college maybe not in the picture for you right now?
No, it's not.
Okay. So if we're not worried about that, that takes away a large expense in your near future. So, I mean, at this stage of life, do you have any expenses? You're living at home right now?
Living at home, yeah. No, I'm just banking all the money.
I love it.
I just looked into a 401k, and I'm just curious. The company matches 3% of whatever I put in. So
the company you're working for right now?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, absolutely. If you're able to do that, I don't know the restrictions at 16 years old of when you're eligible for that. I know the Roth IRA is 18, so I would look into that on the 401k side.
Yeah, and do you have an emergency fund right now?
Not sure exactly what that is, but I have like $4,000 in the bank, roughly. So
that's a good start. So, I mean, I'm guessing you don't have a lot of expenses right now, but you might in the next few years if you move out of the house, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So I would make sure to get that, maybe take that $4,000 up to $8,000 and then call that your emergency fund for right now until you have more real life expenses as you kind of go out on your own as an adult. But beyond that emergency fund, I think it's really cool to start investing. Take advantage of that match. That's going to be 100% return instantly on your money. So I love that. Start there. And if you've got any Roth options, Roth is going to be tax-free growth. So you're going to use after-tax dollars, but then the money's going to grow tax-free. And if you invest that in a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, and invest in good growth stock mutual funds, you're going to be a millionaire. Probably, my guess is by your early 30s at the latest, if you follow this plan.
Okay.
And then on top of that, once you're investing 15% of your income into retirement accounts, then you can start going, all right, let's save up for a down payment on a house once we got that plate spinning. And now at 22 years old, who knows, maybe you could pay cash for your first house.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'd want to get out and go on my own at 18, so
cool. I would rent first, so maybe rent somewhere for a few years while you keep saving up and saving up. But if you keep living on less than you make like you are right now, you're going to be just fine. The fact that you're even calling with this question at 16 years old gives me a lot of hope for you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's get him into Ramsey Plus, because are you working on a budget right now? Do you have a budget?
No, I just started listening to all your podcasts, and so I just thought I'd give you a call. I had a question about that.
So curious, where's all your money going right now? You're making $4,000 a month.
Yeah, I wanted a classic car when I was like younger, so I bought a classic car, and so the money's kind of in the car.
How much is the car worth?
Probably around $10,000.
Okay, well that's reasonable for your income. Good for you. And you paid cash for it?
Yep.
Awesome. And that's your daily driver?
Yep.
Sweet. Well, you sound like you're in a good situation. What I want you to do is, I think right now you're making good money and you're super young, and what I want you to do is make sure that you understand the basics of budgeting and where your money's going. And so when Ramsey Plus, when we sign you up for that, you're going to get every dollar premium, and I want you to make your very first budget. List out your income on one side and all of your expenses on the other. And the truth is you may not have a lot of expenses right now. And so whatever's left after that, I want you to sock away in a savings account. And you can begin investing once you have that fully funded emergency fund. So that's going to be your A1. Let's get another $4,000 in that savings account, and then we can start investing 15% of our income, which for you is going to look like, let's see, probably $7,500 or so.
Yep.
And then beyond that, let's save up for a down payment for the future, maybe some cost to kind of get out on your own and rent somewhere. You're going to need probably first and last month's deposit, maybe some furniture. So I want you to set yourself up in that way to where when you go out on your own as an adult, you're going to be like, well, this is easy. I have money. This is great.
This is awesome.
And you're not scared of working. And that's the number one greatest skill you can have is a great work ethic.
Yeah, and in that Ramsey Plus membership, you can go through FPU, Financial Peace University, that really walks you through the 7 baby steps that we do here at Ramsey. And right now, you're in baby step 3, developing your emergency fund, and you're about to go into 4 through 6. And then hopefully soon you'll be on baby step 7, paying off a house and just being in a really great spot. But it'll give you that foundation of knowledge so that you really know why you're doing what you're doing, how you're doing it, and just having that really strong foundation as you move forward.
Way to go, man. Hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up. We'll hook you up with a year of Ramsey Plus, which includes all the videos on Financial Peace University and our premium budgeting tool, Every Dollar. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself. Their 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they're going to remake your blinds for free. You're going to get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Just use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Amanda in New York. We have a sophomore in high school. Due to some bad financial decisions on our part, we won't be able to help him with college. How can we help him not have to take on a huge amount of student loans? Ooh, I love this question. So my story, my mom couldn't help me pay for college financially, and she sat me down freshman year and had a conversation and was just really real with me about money and was like, I don't have the money to help you, but I believe that you can go to college and you can pay for it debt-free. You don't have to take out student loans. So I want you to get inspired to figure out how you're going to do it. And it really lit a fire in me. I started applying for scholarships and was able to win over $500,000 in scholarships and go to school debt-free. Here's the thing. Having those conversations early with your student can be so helpful. A lot of parents feel uncomfortable. They feel ashamed. In this question, she says, we made some bad financial decisions. And so money can feel very shameful and overwhelming. So that can be tempting to not talk to your student about it. But here's the thing. A lot of students are arriving at college age. They're seniors in high school, and that's the first time they're having a conversation with their parents about money. And they're going, I didn't know that my parents weren't just going to cash flow my education. And then they're kind of panicked and more likely to take on student loans. But if you're willing to have that conversation when your student's a sophomore in high school, that is such a gift. If you can't pay for their education, be real and then inspire them to start thinking about ways that they can go to college debt-free, whether it's scholarships, whether it's working for an employer that offers incredible tuition assistance, whether it's going to community college free first. There's a lot of different options for graduating debt-free, but start creating that strategy early.
Yes. Find that local affordable school, have the conversation, maybe help them get on a plan to apply for scholarships. Where are you going to work part-time to pay for this? Man, that can be a game changer, but it starts with a conversation. Parents, you got to be talking to your kids. I know there's shame and guilt and all kinds of baggage you might have, but you're going to set your kid up for success if you have that conversation as early as possible. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast. You can find both of those on the Ramsey Network and wherever you listen to podcasts. Joined today by Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Kathy joins us up next in Denver, Colorado. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking my call.
Happy to take it. What's going on?
Well, I'm 58, have not saved for retirement. I just recently read the book, the Baby Steps book, and I'm through 3. And I have about $50,000 in an emergency fund, and I just don't know. And I have an inheritance coming in a couple of months. It's about $100,000. I owe about $180,000 on my house, and was wondering if I should use that money to put toward my house. I am making almost an extra house payment per month now, and have been for the last 6 months.
Awesome. What's your income?
I clear about $4,000 a month.
Great. And you've got the margin. So you said you're in baby step 3. You've got no debt and a fully funded emergency fund. So you should be in 4 at that point?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. I have about $50,000 saved in my emergency fund.
Okay. It sounds like that's more than 6 months of expenses for you.
Yeah, about a year. I just didn't know if I should invest some of that in my house or where I should go from this point on.
Yeah. And so you're getting $100,000 of inheritance in a few months.
Uh-huh.
So what I would do if I was in your shoes, I'm taking whatever's beyond the 6 months of emergency fund plus the $100,000 inheritance and just throwing that at the mortgage.
So like $125 toward the mortgage?
Yeah, I mean, that would leave you with, $55,000 left?
Right.
That's a good place to be. And you said you're making an extra payment a month, and now a whole bunch more is going towards the principal instead of interest.
Okay.
And so then I would start to map out, okay, in 2 years, I could have this mortgage paid off.
Okay.
If I can throw 25 at it a year, I don't know what's feasible for you, maybe 2.5, 3 years. But that would be my next goal. And on top of that, you are able to do some catch-up contributions in retirement. Do you have any retirement options at work?
No, I'm self-employed.
Okay. Well, you still have got options. I mean, you've got the SEP IRA, solo 401k. So if I'm in your shoes, I would talk to a SmartVestor Pro. You can jump on to RamseySolutions.com and click on Trusted Pros. Get in touch with them to figure out what the right kind of self-employed retirement plan is right for your situation. And then I would start socking away a bunch of money in there. And I would start doing 15% today. And whatever's beyond that, you can continue investing after the house is paid off.
Okay.
Does that make you feel better for your retirement? Because here's the thing. Once you remove that mortgage payment, it's going to change what your retirement looks like. It's going to lower your expenses.
Right.
Are you going to get Social Security or their pensions? What's your plan to actually retire? Are you going to have to work for another 10 years?
I probably will. And Social Security is all. I don't have a pension.
Okay. Well, I would be about the business of getting this house paid off. Let's start investing 15% as soon as we can into some self-employed retirement plans. And then once the house is paid off, we can increase that investing and really start to ratchet it up as you continue to work for the next decade. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be enough with Social Security to cover all your bills, which you won't have a lot of because you won't have any payments, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's my plan for you, Kathy. Call us back if we can help along the way, and jump on RamseySolutions.com, get in touch with a SmartVestor Pro.
And Kathy, you can get there. I know I can kind of hear a little bit of hesitation in your voice and a little bit of concern, but you can get there, especially with an almost paid off house. You're going to be feeling pretty good in a few years. So thanks for calling, and we're rooting for you.
Yeah, and it may be a different picture of what retirement looks like. It may not be lavish vacations, but you can cover all your bills, you can put food on the table, and no one can take anything away from you because you own it all, including your house. And that's a good place to be. Appreciate the call. Lucas joins us up next in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Lucas, welcome to the show.
Hi, Christina and George. How are y'all?
Hi.
Doing great. What's going on?
So I just had a question so I'm on baby step 3 right now. I'm 19 years old, and I'm saving toward the 3 to 6 months of expenses. And I just had a question about the $1,000 emergency fund that you save in the very beginning. What do you do with that once you're in baby step 3? Is that set aside for like smaller expenses, or do you add it to the 3 to 6 months of expenses?
So once you have all your debt paid off, you're paying off that 3 to 6 months expenses. That $1,000 emergency fund, that was a starter emergency fund. So now you're building out a full emergency fund. So that $1,000 is part of that emergency fund as you build it out.
Yeah, so just add to it.
Okay, that was
same
my main
account.
question. I just wasn't sure. I had it set aside in cash, and then I was saving for probably the last 3 weeks, something like that, toward a separate emergency fund. So, and the question just kind of popped in my mind if that was supposed to go toward that, or if it was separate. So
hey, you're further along than you thought.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'd park it.
Right?
I mean, you can do a local savings account attached to your checking account. You can do an online high-yield savings account. That's where I park my emergency fund. But keep it in one place and only call it the emergency fund. This is not another savings account for an upgrade in car, because what happens is you get a little confused as to what's an emergency and what's not. Is it urgent? Is it necessary? And is it unexpected? That is a true emergency. And once you have that, man, you're going to have some financial peace in your life. Love it.
Definitely. That's what I'm going for.
Awesome. Thanks for the call, man. Will joins us up next in Birmingham, Alabama. Welcome to the show, Will. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Great. How can we help?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to give y'all a call. So I started listening to this show about maybe a year and a half, but I was kind of dumb before and didn't know, all the rules. And I had bought a car while I was in school. And so right now, I want to say I owe $10,000 to it. And during college, when I started listening to y'all, I kind of got in that saving mentality, and I saved around $30,000 in my savings. And my question is, though, I went online and kind of saw the value of my car now, and it's worth a little bit more than what I bought it for. So I was considering selling my car and then just buying the next one in cash and kind of getting around $7,000 or $8,000 in return. And I was going to see if y'all wanted me to go ahead and just pay my car off, or go ahead and sell it and try to get that profit in return and just get a lesser car.
So you owe $10K on it. What is it worth?
It's worth like $17,900 right now.
Wow. So you could clear $8,000 on this, like you mentioned. And then what would you go buy?
Right. And that's the question, because I have enough cash, just to go buy one in cash, especially after I sell my car. So I kind of don't know what. That's what I was going to ask y'all a question, like what kind of value of car should I go get?
What's your income?
Right now, so I just graduated school. It's around $50,000.
Oh, awesome.
Plus commission. So.
And this is all the debt you have is the car?
Later. I also have some college loans too that'll start, I guess, in 6 months or whenever that'll.
How much student loan debt?
That'll be around $20,000.
Okay, and you have $30 in the bank.
Yes.
So you're telling me you could turn around, take the $30K in the bank, and pay off your student loans and the car loan today?
Yes, I would. See, I'm just a little nervous. Like, I've had that saving mentality. That number in the bank just makes me feel secure.
You're not, dude.
And
you owe $30,000 to people. That makes me feel insecure.
Right, yeah, I know it. I'm just worried.
That's a false sense of security, having that money in that bank account.
Right, and I know that, and I knew that was the real answer. It's just, I don't. It's tough giving that money. It seems like I'm just giving it away, but I know it'll be better in the long run.
You signed up for all that debt, my friend, and once you pay it off, you're going to feel a whole lot better. So if I'm you, keep $1,000, and if you can find that extra $30 on top of that, just pay off all the debt, and then you can make the decision if you want to sell the car. What do you think, Christina?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, it's a pretty tough car market out there, so it's a little bit challenging to find reliable cars. So if you like that car, you have the money to pay off all the debt, and then you can start saving up your emergency fund, I think you're in a really good spot, even though I know it's nerve-wracking to pay off the debt, to not see the savings account quite as high. I think you're going to feel a lot more secure and breathe a little easier knowing you're completely debt-free, and you're really young still. So you've got a lot of time to save, build that back up, invest, and really win with money.
Absolutely. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Christina Ellis, my co-host, all the folks in the booth, and you, America. We appreciate you listening. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Christina Ellis, here today, joined by my co-host, George Camel. Y'all, this is my first time in the driver's seat, so here we go. We're taking your calls today, 888-825-5225. First up, we have Tyler calling from Tampa. Hey, Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How can we help?
So my question is, I just graduated from high school, I got my diploma and all that, and I plan on going to school for like the next year and a half to do airplane mechanics. And I was wondering, because I keep getting two different answers. Should I build credit or should I not build credit to go and purchase a house?
Okay. And who are those two answers from?
Well, my grandparents there's grandparents that say get credit and grandparents that say don't get credit.
Oh. Which ones do you like more?
That's a good question.
I won't make you answer that. I'm sure you love them both dearly. Well, you called into this show. I assume you've listened before.
Yeah, I remember going home from kindergarten. My parents listening to the show.
Kindergarten? I feel like I'm 90 years old now. That's impressive. So
Yeah.
what do you think my answer is going to be?
No credit.
Why do you
Put
think that
20%
is?
down on a house. Because credit means I love debt.
You just answered. You should be hosting the show today. You're doing great so far.
I did take a Ramsey classroom in high school until
I love it.
Unfortunately, I got expelled and asked not to come back.
Oh my goodness! It wasn't because of the personal finance class, though, was it?
Oh no.
Okay.
Hey, but you're calling the show today. That shows you're still a great student.
So Tyler, when it comes to credit, you're focused on, hey, I need this to get a house. Is that right?
Yeah, because what they're saying is a mortgage company will, you don't have credit, you don't have a buying history.
Sure.
But I got lucky enough to, or unlucky, I got a settlement because I got hit by a car.
Oh my goodness.
And I have a quite a bit of money for.
Are you okay? Are you physically well?
Yeah, I just broke my arm. Honestly, after PT, I got more movement in that arm than the other one.
Oh, good. Okay, so how much money do you have currently?
I currently have $60,000.
And you have no debt?
No debt at all.
Do you have an emergency fund?
Yes, I do.
Outside of the 60?
Yep.
You're amazing. How old are you?
I'm only 18.
Oh, my goodness. You're doing great, man.
And is that how you plan on paying for your education?
Yeah, with the some of the 60.
Okay. Well, I would focus on that now. We don't need to worry about getting a house yet. I want you to get through college completely debt-free. And when the time comes when you are ready to buy a house, which, by the way, if you graduate college debt-free, you'll get there a whole lot faster.
I bet.
So here's why I can say this with confidence, that you don't need a credit score to buy a house. It's because I did it, and I'm not special. I just followed a process called manual underwriting. You'll see it listed as a no-score loan, and there's lots of companies that do it. The one that we recommend, that we've been recommending for decades, is called Churchill Mortgage. They're a national company, and they'll walk you through it. And what it looks like is they look at your real financial picture. Hey, do you have 12 months of rental history? Check. Do you have a tax return to show us to prove that you made money? Great. Do you have utility bills that you've been paying, like your cell phone and internet? Great. We will give you this mortgage.
All right. Yeah, that sounds great.
So it's that simple. And a lot of people overcomplicate it, Christina. They say, well, George, you're not telling them how long, and it's so complicated and so difficult. It really wasn't. There was just a few more documents to hand over. It took a little bit more time. It didn't delay us getting into our house, and it set us up for success because we weren't busy playing the credit score game.
Right. Yep.
And so I would recommend to Tyler, go listen to, we did an episode on this on my podcast, The Fine Print. It's episode 7. It's called The Dirty Truth Behind Your Credit Score. You can find that on podcast and YouTube. Just search for The Fine Print, and that will open your eyes. We talked to someone at Churchill, one of their mortgage loan specialists, to dig into this topic. So
I love that you have that personal experience with it, too, that you are walking proof that it can be done. And Tyler, my other encouragement is just to make sure you take student loans off the table. You know, you have that $60K. You said it's going to pay for part of your education, but I know there's kind of a question mark for how the rest of it's going to come about. So be determined to do it debt-free. You're young, you have no debt, you've got a great start, but keep that mindset, especially with two different sets of grandparents kind of competing, telling you different mindsets when it comes to money. Pick the one that leads you to a debt-free future.
Boom.
Stay determined on that.
Nailed it.
Next up, we have Jamie calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Jamie, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
How can we help?
Well, I am an entrepreneur, and I have gotten myself in about $50,000 in debt, and I am trying to figure out if bankruptcy is my only option.
Well, easy answer is no. Without even knowing anything else about your situation, you're going to be okay. How much do you make?
$75,000 last year.
Who told you bankruptcy is the only option?
Well, I went and I have 3 businesses, and I went and got an office, leased an office space. and it really caused my business to go just to be in a detrimental space. Now my bills have gotten behind. I've maxed out my business and my personal credit card. And essentially, I got the office space so that I can run my insurance business and my nonprofit in the same office space, so I can have people come in and I don't have to be in two locations. Well, the funding has yet to come in for the nonprofit, and I guess it was poor planning on my part.
So what kind of debt is the 50?
It's credit card, and I have $22,000 left on my car.
Okay, what's the car worth?
The car's worth $30,000.
What do you say we sell this car to help you avoid a whole lot more pain and suffering? Because that'll clear half your debt right there.
True.
So if you sell it for $30,000, you owe $22,000. That leaves you with $8,000 to go get yourself a decent, reliable car for now.
Okay.
And this isn't Jamie's forever car. Jamie's going to upgrade once we're out of debt. We have an emergency fund, and the business is back up and running.
Okay.
Because that leaves you with half your debt, $25,000 or so.
Yes.
And making $75,000. How quickly can we pay off $25,000? Within a year?
Pretty easily.
We can do that within a year. So I want you to get current on your bills. I want you to be proactive in contacting all the credit card companies. Is it multiple cards?
Yes.
Okay. Be proactive. Communicate with them. Say, hey, here's what I can do right now. I'm going to make my minimum payments. We're going to get ahead. And then you start paying extra once that car is sold, and now you've freed up a car payment that you can throw at this debt.
Okay.
You see how this is going to get you out of this now? You don't have to file for bankruptcy.
Absolutely.
Far from it.
Thank you so much.
And if you want more encouragement, we also did an episode about this on the Fine Print podcast. Episode 8, Is Bankruptcy a Quick Fix for Struggling Americans? I hope that gives you some encouragement along the journey. Call us back when you're debt-free.
I love that. But some of the time, it's just getting the options out on the table, right?
You back yourself into a corner.
Right.
You go, I can't do anything. I have to file for bankruptcy. No, you can get out of this, Jamie.
Yeah.
And guess what? She's the solution.
There we go.
She was the problem, but she's also the solution.
There we go.
It's beautiful.
Giving that hope and encouragement. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by George Camel. If you're a business or HR leader, you know your employees are dealing with a lot. My employee wellness team, Smart Dollar, just did a study and found out that living through one of the toughest times in history, 60% of employees say their mental health has gotten worse. Half say their mental health keeps them from doing their job to the best of their ability. Good leaders take their employees' mental health and wellness seriously because it's good for your team and your business when your employees are healthy mentally. So give your employees a way to deal with their stress and put them on a path to care for their mental wellness. John Deloney's Anxiety Relief Checklist gives your employees simple steps they can take to relieve their anxiety so they can start bringing their full selves to work again. To get John Deloney's Anxiety Relief Checklist for your employees, go to RamseySolutions.com/anxiety checklist. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/anxiety checklist. We're taking your calls today, 888-825-5225. Next up, we have Michelle calling from Chattanooga. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi. Yeah, thanks.
How can we help?
So my husband and I are in an interesting situation. We are not fighting in any way, but we have a rental home, and then the only debt we have is our mortgage. So we have no debt except our mortgage. And we are thinking about selling our rental. Our renters are about to move out, and so this is the time that we would do that. And we're just not sure which way to go. We kind of don't think there's a wrong decision, but we don't know which decision to make.
Cool. So what is the rental worth if you sold it once they move out?
I've talked to several realtors in the last few days, 3 of the ones you guys recommend, and the consensus is about $225 is what we would list it for.
Okay. What's left on the mortgage?
Got the note. $159.
Cool. So you'd clear that mortgage, and you have no other debt, and you have savings in the bank. Do you have an emergency fund?
Yes.
Do you guys have money socked away in retirement?
Oh, yes.
How much?
It's a lot less right now. Oh, goodness. It's down to about $400,000.
Okay, that's your total retirement savings?
It was at about $800,000, and then the market started going down in the last year.
Well, it didn't go down 50%, Michelle.
Well, no. I may not have those numbers exactly right.
Okay.
So I don't have that pulled up in front of me.
All right.
But, yeah, it's definitely down from where it was.
Sure.
And we have not taken any out.
Well, we're going to ride this out. You guys are both still working?
Yes.
Okay. What's your income?
Including our rental, about $170,000.
Okay. How about without the rental, considering the renters are about to move out? What will it go down
$150,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the rental was bringing in about
$18,000. It's bringing about $18,000 a year.
Okay. So not life-changing money. This is not going to change your lifestyle drastically if you sell it.
No, it's not. It's a matter of, do we want to be out of debt now or out of debt in 3 to 4 years?
Yeah.
Because that's our new goal, is getting out of the mortgage.
I think both are fine options. It sounds like you're real excited about having no mortgage payment, and I don't blame you.
I am. I am. And my husband's not opposed to it. He's excited, too, about that in the future. But we just want to use our money the wisest we can, because it's not our money. It's not even our rental house. It's God's rental house.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do with it? So we're trying to get all of the information.
Well, I love that mentality. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm probably selling the rental. There's nothing wrong with keeping it. I mean, it's paid for. It's not draining you guys, and it's bringing in a little bit of income. But the idea of having it paid off, have a paid-off house and a bunch of money in the bank that you can now use to do some contributions to retirement to really set you guys up, that excites me more than being a landlord, personally.
Yes.
And if you miss it, you can always be a landlord later, right? You can get another rental property with cash.
Yeah, and I feel like your voice just lights up whenever you talk about the idea of having no debt and getting it paid off. So I feel like you're kind of wanting to lean towards selling the rental and paying it off. And I just think that you're going to be able to walk in so much more freedom.
Yeah.
All right,
so the housing market's doing great still, so let's sell that thing.
Yep. Next up, we have Andrea calling from Gainesville. Hey, Andrea, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Is it Andrea?
Yes.
Oh,
Andrea.
okay. A little fancy flair to it. There we go. We got it.
How can we help?
Yes, I am receiving a settlement from a car accident I was in a couple years ago, and I need to know what to do with the money. I don't want to have it just sit in my bank account doing nothing. I'm on baby step 4, 5, and 6, so our only debt is our mortgage. I will need to access some of that money for ongoing treatment, but definitely not all of it.
How much
I need
money?
Some support on where to it. It's going to be about $30,000.
Okay. And you guys are currently investing 15%. Do you have kids?
Yes.
And you're putting a little bit of money away for college?
Yes.
Are you paying extra on the house right now?
We are not.
Okay. How much do you think you'd need to cover your upcoming medical expenses?
I'm thinking like about $1,000 for the next year or two.
Wow.
Yeah, just co-pays and stuff like that. I probably could cash flow it, but it's nice to have that cushion.
Yeah, and you have your fully funded emergency fund outside of that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, if you feel like college is being properly funded right now, you could throw a chunk in there into, the 529 or ESA, whatever you guys got going on. But beyond that, I would just throw it at the house and start to knock out this mortgage.
Okay.
What's left on the mortgage?
And just, like $180.
Okay. That'll help. What's your income?
We're creeping down. A little under 100,000.
Cool. Yeah, that's going to get you guys a long ways. Throwing it at the mortgage. If college is doing well, you're investing 15%. You've got the medical expenses covered. I think that would be the next step. What do you think, Christina?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And I think you're going to just keep, feeling better about having that mortgage paid down. I love that you're already on a great path. You're paying 15% into retirement. You're saving for kids' college. And yeah, I think that sounds like a solid
If you were going to park the money, I would just park it in an online high-yield savings account. You're going to get about 1%, which is nothing exciting. But if you needed to park any savings for now, like the medical expenses, that's where I would park it. But other than that, I'm throwing it at the house. I want to see that mortgage go down, less on interest, more on principal. That excites me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the call.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Next up, we have Makita calling from Jacksonville. Hey, welcome to the show. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Good. Awesome. How can we help?
Yes, so bottom line up front, I'm in the military and I want to know, should I downsize my house next year when my son graduates high school? Now, I might PCS next year. I don't know. They may keep me here for my Twilight tour. I have no idea. But my son, he'll be a senior. He graduates and he may go to college in North Carolina. He may not. He may go back to Georgia where we're from. So should I downsize my home?
Well, I'm a fan of selling it if you don't need all the space and it's going to help set you up financially. Could you rent for a while until you figure out what's next?
I could. It might be harder down here because of Hurricane Florence. Still, the rental market is not as good as it was. But I'm pretty sure I can look for an apartment to rent.
How much money would you get from the sale of the house, net profit?
Maybe 30,000, 40,000. I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, if you want to put that down on the next house, I think that's fine. But it sounds like there's so many unknowns in your life right now that you're not really sure where you're going to be planted. Which is why I'm okay with you spending a little bit more on rent because of those unknowns.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 4-bedroom, and it's only 2 of us, so I don't want all that space.
Oh, yeah. You don't need 4 bedrooms. I would sell it. I would rent for a while, maybe for a year, figure out where you're going to be planted long-term, and make a decision based off of that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for the call. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by George Camel.
So, Christina, we both purchased used cars this year, and we thought it'd be fun to give our listeners some tips because a lot of people are going, listen, I know it's not a great time to buy a car, but we need to get a car.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that they avoid so many traps out there. And there's 1,000 ways these days to even get a used car. So we want to talk about our personal experiences, what we've learned, and maybe give some encouragement to those looking to get a car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's rough out there. Man, we had been saving for a car for a long time. We saw the market and we thought, let's just wait because this is just too crazy. But then the AC went out on our 2008 Ford Escape with 200,000 miles. And we were kind of forced in that position where it's like, oh, hey, no, now is the time. We got to buy a car now. And just going into this market, it is insane out there. And so, yeah, we learned a lot through the process that I think could help other people who are kind of going through this.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I learned in this is just to watch your emotions. So I went to probably over 50 different dealerships here in Nashville trying to find a car, called around everywhere, just trying to find inventory, find what we were looking for. And it's emotional. It's really hard because you think, I've got the money saved up to buy a car. Why can't I find the car? Or why are all the cars marked up $5,000, $10,000? And it was interesting because I had some dealers kind of put that, slimy sales pressure on. And I asked one dealer, I said, how on earth do you think, you could get $20,000 over MSRP for a used car when new cars are going for less than that? And he actually said, so many people are desperate right now that they're willing to just come on the lot, and when they see a car, they're just going to jump on it and get it in that moment. So just being willing to go, okay, while there's not a lot of cars out there, there's a lot of crazy pricing, just taking a breath and saying, while this dealership is low on cars, there are other dealerships out there that could potentially have a car, and just trying to keep those emotions
And
in
just
check.
like the housing market, you get stuck on the certain kind of house or this feature or this make and model, and you start to do stupid because you're like, this is it. This is the only car like this that exists. We had a call, Ken Coleman and I, on the show, and someone said, what was the schnozberry color Jeep? And they were like, well, we have to have it because it's the only schnozberry colored Jeep. And I was like, it's a maroon Jeep, guys. There's other maroon Jeeps out there, but people make crazy decisions based on their emotions. So we got to take the emotions out and go, no, what do we actually need?
Right. What do
right
we need?
now?
What do we need right now? Another thing is to watch out for hidden fees. So when we were shopping for cars, I came across this car that looked like it was such a great deal. It was like $2,000 under Kelley Blue Book, and it was beautiful. We were so excited about it, about to purchase it, and I asked, thank God, I just had this idea to ask for a printout of the pricing and said, we're going to go home and think on it for the night. We'll come back tomorrow if it's still here. And when I looked at the pricing, there was this random $3,000 extra fee. It wasn't taxes, it wasn't title, it wasn't license, it was this mystery fee. So I called back the next morning and was like, what is this fee? And they were like, it's a pre-maintenance fee. We're charging you for stuff that we did in advance. And I'm like, I don't want to pay that fee. And after you added that fee in, I wasn't getting a deal. It was over Kelley Blue Book. It was not a deal. So just watch out for that. What might seem like a deal in this market and very exciting because there's not a ton of deals could actually not be a deal once you actually realize like the final pricing.
And most people at that point, they're so deep in it, they're not even really looking over the sheet. They're just going, it's been 3 hours. I want to just get out of here and get in this car. And so you got to watch out for all of those random fees, and they are random. I follow some car dealership guys out there that help people avoid these traps, and they're going through going, the only legit fee is a small dock fee, a small one, under $1,000. That's it. Other than that, you should only be paying your sales tax, your tag, those kinds of basic fees on top of the actual sales price. So when I got my used car, I was so excited because it was just the sales price plus tax. That was it. And I went, I can breathe.
Yes.
This is good. So make sure you watch out for those hidden fees. And just say, I'm not paying that. And if they go, okay, kick rocks, you walk away, and usually they're chasing you in the parking lot going, okay, sir, we're going to cut those fees. I talked to the manager in the back. They're always having to go to the back to this mystery manager, which is really just them taking a smoke break and going, all right, I'm going to go back out there and wheel and deal a little bit more.
Right. Well, and a lot of times when you see those fees, you're already like sold on the car. So by the time you get that pricing printout, you're already picturing yourself dropping your kids off at school in this car and taking vacation in this car. So it's like before you really decide this is our car, make sure you ask for a printout of the pricing so that you truly know before, again, you get your emotions wrapped up in buying that specific car.
And you got to do your research ahead of time to even know, is this actually a good deal? Is this a fair price? And so I want you to go in that dealership knowing more about that car than they do.
Absolutely.
That is how you win in these negotiations.
That's so good. And the other thing is to just keep looking. So, in our situation, our AC went out on the car. So it is tempting to get desperate, and it's tempting to go, we need a car today and we need a car right now. But if you can find a way to build in a little bit of margin to give yourself time to actually explore and look and see what's out there, that can help so much. And I know this is going to sound really crazy, and I can't believe I'm admitting this on national radio, but we actually went on Amazon and bought two $25 little AC units to put in our old car to give us a couple more days to search for a car.
That is scrappy. That's pretty gangster. I'm looking at your husband out there, and he's giving me the thumbs up.
Yeah, I was like, man, I can't find a car tonight, but we still need a car. So what can we do to stretch this out and give us some time? And here's the cool thing. Buy us some
patience.
Buy us some patience. And the cool thing is when we did finally find the car that we were looking for, it was the cheapest one of its type within a 200-mile radius, and I found it within an hour of it being posted. So having that extra flexibility to look and explore and take the time actually helped us save thousands of dollars in the long run.
And you're ready when that time does come and you see that car and you go, oh, we have the cash. And which is the biggest tip of all. Pay cash. Do not fall for their financing. They'll go, well, we'll take $1,000 off if you finance it, because they're getting all their kickbacks of $1,500 if you finance it. So avoid those traps. People say, well, wait, don't tell them you're paying cash, because if they're not going to sell me a car because I'm paying cash, I'm moving on. I don't want to do business with these people. Right. And when we say cash, we got to make this clear. We don't mean take a briefcase of cash, which someone I know actually took a briefcase full of cash to the dealership, and they went, we legally can't even take this. It's a liability. We can't take over $10,000. So don't do that. I'm talking about a cashier's check.
Yes.
That's the way to do it. And when you have that, you can supplement that with your debit card or with a personal check, because people go, what if it's not the exact amount to the penny in the cashier's check? It's okay. You can supplement that. You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
So there's a lot of research that has to be done, and it can be overwhelming. So I want to give people a few tools that they can use to start their research online. Edmunds is a great reputable site. Car Gurus, TrueCar, of course, Kelley Blue Book. This is a great way to figure out what kind of car do I want, what is a fair price for what I'm willing to pay for it. Then you know kind of how much you need to start saving up to pay for that in cash. And there's a lot of different sites for buying online cars as well. Car Gurus will show you local market prices. Carvana and CarMax are great for national market prices. Kelley Blue Book is suggested retail value. Your local dealer might give you some anecdotal insight about what's going on locally in your area. And so you combine all these data points, you go, oh, this gives me a really good, true picture of how much this car should cost and what I should be looking for.
That's so good. Yeah, of all times, it's always good to do your research. It's always good to have options, but especially now in this market, it's good to go in with all of your ducks in a row, doing the research in advance, knowing what the price should be for the car, and just really being able to come in prepared.
And last thing, always get a pre-purchase inspection. This has been a big one. We've taken a lot of calls where people buy a car, and they thought it was a good deal, and 3 days later, the transmission goes out, or it needs thousands of dollars in repairs that they didn't know about. Ooh. And all these cars are sold as is. And so unless you can take advantage of some kind of lemon law, you can get screwed on these deals. So always get a pre-purchase inspection from a mechanic of your choice. Do not let the person selling it tell you, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to my buddy here, because that's just not a trustworthy way to go about it. So find a local mechanic that you trust to look over the car. It's going to cost you probably $100, $200, but it's so worth it to know that what you're buying is exactly what you thought it was.
Exactly. That's so good. It's that concept of taking the time in advance, taking the time to do the inspection, taking a little bit of extra time to search, to not get, panicked and desperate and kind of fall into that trap of buying something, just because you're in a state of needing it right then. Being willing to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Do the inspection.
Here's
research.
What I found, Christina. The person with the most patience, information, and options always wins. So get you all three before you make a giant purchase.
So good. We'll be back. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Our quote of the day is, we do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up. Seeing it not as dreadful as it appears, discovering we have the strength to stare it down. Eleanor Roosevelt. That is so good. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined by my co-host, George Camel.
So, Christina, we got to talk about this. You are known for having gone to school completely debt-free, winning over $500,000 in scholarships, cash flowing your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, just a great success story. And you're encouraging the next generation to do the same, to show them that it's possible to go to school debt-free. I am, on the other hand, the guy who did dumb, went into student loan debt, didn't have the right conversations with my family, and ended up in $36,000 of student loan debt, kind of wandering into it going, okay, I guess we're here. And so I got rid of that very quickly following the Ramsey plan. But I wanted to talk about some of the student loan myths that are out there. And I kind of like that people are riled up about student loans because it shows me that we're breaking the myth that student loans are, quote, good debt. Because if it's good debt, why would we be in the business of forgiving it, right?
Right.
So America's waking up to this, and we're seeing some of the stats out there. 47% of Americans who use student loans to pay for school have delayed other things they want to do in their lives, like buying a home, getting married, or having a child because of student loan debt. That breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart, too. We've been on some coaching calls recently with people with 6 figures in student loan debt and just hearing what it's causing in their lives, hearing the pain in their voices, the things that they're putting off. I can't sit with saying this is good debt when I see the way it's destroyed lives and I see the people and the pain on the other end of the line. It's rough.
And student loans are killing the American dream. And it seems like the new American dream, it feels too far away for someone to be a homeowner and have this kind of car. Now the American dream is, can I be debt-free in my lifetime? And so we're out here trying to preach from the street corners going, yes, you can, and you don't have to wait your whole life to become debt-free. And the average person that follows the Ramsey plan, the baby steps, the debt snowball, they pay off their consumer debt in 18 to 24 months because they get intense and angry at it.
That's so powerful. And I love that you've walked through it, that we're coming from completely different places. So it's like, I went to college debt-free, you had debt, you paid it off, and we're both so passionate because it's like, this whole system of college with student loans and people getting gripped in student loans, it's not okay. And we can help you all fight it, whether it's paying off student loans or going to college debt-free. It can be done. But I think one of the things that people are really frustrated about right now, we're talking about student loan forgiveness, which is great, but we also have to fix the problem of how the new generation is going to pay for college. It's such a challenge because it's like we have 2 problems here. It's like we've got people gripped with student loan debt, and then we have people who are signing up for more student loan debt. So it's just so important that we stop the bleeding and people start attacking the problem, figuring out how they can pay off theirs.
Oh, yeah. The forgiveness is we're trying to bail out the water from the boat without plugging the leak.
Right.
And that's a major problem. And a boating analogy coming from me, that's impressive right there. But according to Ameritrade, this is from earlier this year, the average student loan debt per borrower is $38,792, with the average monthly payment coming in at almost $400. And 7 out of 10 graduate with student loan debt. Around 45 million Americans walking around with this monkey on their back, $1.7 trillion. And it just feels overwhelming. And so what I like to do is zoom in and go, the numbers are scary. So what can we control? We can't control what happens in the White House. We can't control the forgiveness programs. But I can control the guy in the mirror. And I can get on a budget. And I can figure out where to find the margin. And I can go get a side job. And I can take control of this instead of hoping and wishing and praying that someone does something about this problem.
Right. And well, and the thing is right now, the reason it's so important to talk about this is a lot of people haven't been paying on their student loans for a few years. We have people who graduated from college a year and a half ago, and they're not paying on their student loans. And the thing is they didn't know really what that was like to start with. They don't really know what it looks like to put a student loan payment in their budget. And then we're hearing all these promises about potential forgiveness, so they're hoping it's never going to happen. So like you said, you got to start attacking it and looking at it and getting on a budget. So it's like even if you're sitting there waiting and thinking, I want to see if forgiveness is going to happen. I don't want to pay anything until we see what's going to happen. You can still start setting apart that payment and start getting on a budget and carving out that space so that, you're ready regardless. Because we saw a study and it's, I think it was like 90% of people are not ready to start resuming payments. And that's a scary statistic. That's a scary thought of, all these people are going to kind of be shocked when it comes back, if it comes back.
Yeah, and we take a lot of calls in the show, people saying, hey, should I wait? I mean, what if forgiveness does happen? And the chances of widespread, just unlimited student loan forgiveness happening in my lifetime is slim to none. Now, if they do forgive, let's say $10,000, we are barely going to make a dent. And it's not going to affect all people. It's going to be federal loans. So if you got private loans, sorry. Right. And the people who go, well, I don't want to pay off my loans because what if they get forgiven later and I've already paid them off? And I go, well, you just got free earlier. And it changed your character. It changed your work ethic. It changed how you view money and how you view debt. So I'm totally okay with you paying off your debt. And if forgiveness happens later on, you go, whoop-de-doo. Happy for all those people. But the calls that we take, it's not $10,000 in student loan debt. It's 50, it's 90, it's 150. And so we're not even scratching the surface, and this is not a solution. And also, it's a talking point as we headed to the midterms.
Yeah.
No matter what political party it is, this is a great way to get voters excited to vote for you when you can dangle that carrot in front of them.
Which is sad because it's a carrot that's really confusing people. Like the fact that there's not clarity on this, I think so many of us just wish that they would decide one way or another so that real people could figure out, what they're going to do. Hey, I'm wondering, can you share a bit of your story about how you paid off your student loans? Because I just love it. You really hustled for this. Like the way you made sacrifices, I honestly kind of get goosebumps when I hear your story because I love it.
That means a lot. So I had $36,000 of student loan debt, got a communication degree, bachelor's of science in that. And when I got out, I started working here as an intern and a temp, and I got an entry-level job. I went through Financial Peace University, and I saw other people around me who were paying off their debt. And I went, oh, you can just pay it off, like faster. I thought it was a thing you just pay off for 20 years and hope it's gone. And so I went about the business and I did my first budget. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm spending $700 on food as a very small single man. This is a huge problem. So I started getting really intentional and creative and going, I'm going to go to the grocery store and wait till lean cuisines go on sale 5 for $10 because that's $2 a meal. And if I do that, I can shave off so much money on food. And I started going to downtown Nashville, not to party, but to pick up the party goers because I picked up side hustles doing Uber and Lyft to make extra money.
Love it.
And on top of that, I went, what is my skill set? What can I use my talents for to make extra money on the side? And I was in marketing at the time. So I started building websites for people. And I became a marketing consultant. And I started getting paid, $25, $30 an hour to do this work from home, after work, on the evenings, during the weekends. And I really started to see the momentum. And I stopped eating out. And I got on that budget, and I saw the progress, and 18 months later, I was completely debt-free. I had cut up my Discover card, my American Express card that I was like, but the Delta Sky Miles, the 5% cash back at restaurants from Discover, they're blessing me with these amazing rewards. But why am I broke and unhappy and miserable and filled with anxiety and stress and frustration? And so once I cut those cards up, got rid of the debt, it freed me. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. And this past December, me and my wife, who works here, we paid off our house. And to get that weight off our shoulders and go, I didn't think, this was 10 years ago that I was in this position. I never thought 10 years later I could be completely debt-free with a paid-for house with savings in the bank. I just thought that's for someone else. That's for rich people. That's for different kinds of careers. That's not for me. And so I want to encourage people that they can get rid of this debt. They don't have to have it hanging around. They don't have to wait on the White House to change their life. They can just be about the business of doing it themselves. And I think that is such a powerful, character-changing, spiritual journey that they can set themselves on.
That is so powerful. You were willing to do the work, to make the sacrifices, cut back on your grocery budget, work extra jobs. You are walking proof of what this plan can look like and the freedom, baby step 7, that can come from this. That's just incredible.
Thank you, Christina. I love your heart for helping this next generation avoid student loan debt and show them how to do it. You're awesome.
Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to my co-host, George Campbell, and to the people in the booth, thank you. And to you, America, thanks for listening. We'll be back with you before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.